The arena of Cathera 7 was alive with noise, an ocean of alien voices rising and falling like thunder. Thousands of beings from across the galaxy had come to witness the galactic combat trials, the most brutal and celebrated event in known space. Hollow cameras hovered in the air, broadcasting every strike, every drop of blood to millions of homes across distant worlds. Tonight was supposed to be a joke match, a formality before the main event. The crowd came to see General Vortak of the Zeldar Empire, a towering creature with armor fused to his skin and veins that pulsed with molten energy. He had crushed champions from 9 species. No one had ever lasted more than 30 seconds against him, and his opponent, a human, a small one, Lieutenant Kara Reed, Terran Expeditionary Corps. She stood under the floodlights wearing only light combat gear, no exosuit, no weapons, just her bare fists. The crowd roared with laughter the moment she stepped onto the platform. From the front rows, alien dignitaries leaned forward, smirking, expecting entertainment. Vortak tilted his head, his tusks catching the light. "This is the best Earth could send," he growled through the translator. "A fragile creature with soft bones." The laughter grew louder, echoing off the metal walls. Kara didn't respond. She just looked at him with calm grey eyes, her hands relaxed at her sides. She was shorter than his chest plate, barely half his mass. Every logical mind in the arena knew she would lose, quickly. But Kara had fought in wars that no alien had ever seen. She had survived the siege of Luna. She had seen her home burn. She knew what it meant to fight with nothing left but breath and will. The referee, a floating drone, spoke in mechanical tones. "Combatants ready. Round 1, begin." The bell rang with a metallic chime. Vortak roared and stomped forward, his steps shaking the floor. Kara lifted her fists, light on her feet, her expression unreadable. The alien crowd leaned forward, eager to watch her fall. Cameras zoomed in on her small frame, the muscles in her arms tensed but still. Then she moved, a quick jab, so fast it startled even the commentators. Her fist struck Vortak's abdomen with a dull thud. Her small sound, harmless. The alien blinked, looked down at her, then threw back his head and laughed. The crowd followed, their laughter booming like a storm. "Was that it, little human?" Vortak sneered. "Your kind must punch like feathers." Kara stepped back a pace. Her breathing was steady. She didn't answer. For a few seconds she just stared at him, studying the way his body moved, how he shifted his weight, how he sneered with too much confidence. Her heartbeat slowed. She remembered the drills, the endless nights of training under Earth's gravity, the voice of her instructor. "When they mock you, they drop their guard. That's when you strike." She took a slow breath, then she smiled. Just barely. Something changed in her eyes, something primal, ancient. The laughter of the crowd began to fade. A strange silence rippled through the stands as her body language shifted. Her shoulders lowered, her feet dug into the ground, her stance tightened. Even the commentators hesitated. Vortak frowned. "What is this?" he muttered. "Trying to look fierce before I end you?" Kara didn't answer. Her second fist slowly drew back. The air around her seemed to still. The lights above flickered for a moment, reacting to a faint surge of static energy. The crowd leaned in, confused. Her arm moved differently this time, not with strength but with precision. With intent. Vortak's grin faltered as instinct whispered to him. Something was wrong. Kara exhaled softly, her lips parting with a whisper only she could hear. "For Earth!" Vortak stepped forward, raising his arm to block, but stopped. Her eyes, they weren't cold anymore. They were burning. In that moment, the galaxy saw not a weak human, but a predator hidden inside fragile skin. Every muscle in her body aligned for one perfect strike. The arena light shimmered against her sweat-damp face. Her hair falling over her eyes like a shadow, the audience held its breath. Then the narrator's voice cut through the silence like a knife. "They didn't know that humans don't fight to win. They fight to survive." Vortak's grin turned into confusion. Kara's second punch began to move. Slow at first, then faster, the motion blurring until cameras couldn't track it. The air cracked with sound, a low thunder rolling across the platform. The image froze on every broadcast across the galaxy, Kara's fist mid-swing, her expression calm, determined, unbroken. Viewers leaned forward, hearts pounding, waiting for impact. The crowd in the arena went silent. Every voice, Every sound, every heartbeat caught in that impossible moment before the storm. No, one could believe it. No one expected her to hit him again, and yet she did. The story of that punch would be told for centuries, but in this moment, before the blow landed, before the dust rose, the universe saw something terrifying and magnificent. The truth hidden inside every human heart, a truth no alien empire had ever understood. You can mock a human's weakness, but never their will. HFY Sci-Fi Story. Alien mocked the human's pathetic punch, but her next blow shattered his pride. The arena lights flashed white. The sound came a second later, a deep, echoing crack that rolled across the stands like thunder. Dust burst into the air. For one heartbeat, no one moved. Vortak's massive body jerked backward, his feet sliding across the metal floor. The laughter stopped. The cameras tried to focus, struggling to track the blur that was Kara's punch. The shockwave hit the crowd a second later, making banners tremble and the air vibrate. When the dust cleared, the mighty general was on one knee. His armor, metal strong enough to stop plasma rounds, was dented inward. A deep mark burned across it, the imprint of a human fist. Silence filled the arena. Thousands of alien eyes watched, unable to understand what they had just seen. Then the whispers began. What happened? Did she use a weapon? No, that was just her hand. Vortak's breathing was heavy. He stared at the dent in his armor, then up at the small human before him. His disbelief turned into anger. "You dare?" he roared, his voice shaking the floor. He lunged forward, swinging a massive arm, but Kara stepped aside smoothly, the movement almost effortless. She didn't look scared. She didn't even look tired. Her stance was calm, her breathing even, her eyes locked on him with sharp focus. She whispered something, not for him, but for herself. "Never underestimate the fragile ones." The crowd erupted, half in cheers, half in outrage. Commentators shouted over each other in dozens of alien tongues. "Impossible. No human can generate that much kinetic force. She broke Zeldar armor with bare hands. Is this some kind of trick?" Kara didn't hear them. Her knuckles burned from the impact, the skin raw, blood trickling down her wrist. She flexed her fingers slowly. Pain shot up her arm, but she ignored it. Pain meant she was still alive. She had felt worse. Far worse. Vortak rose, shaking with fury. "You humiliate me before the galaxy," he thundered. His tusks glowed faintly as his battle instincts kicked in. "You will regret this, human." He charged, the floor cracking beneath his steps. Kara ducked under his swing, rolled, and landed behind him. Her training took over. Precision, timing, patience. She waited for him to turn, then slammed her heel into the back of his knee. The giant stumbled, crashing forward. The crowd gasped. "Stay down," Kara said quietly. Vortak's roar was filled with pride and shame. "Never!" He spun and threw a backhand, the blow grazing her shoulder and sending her sliding across the floor. The impact tore through her nerves, but she forced herself up. Her right arm trembled. The alien was faster now, his anger making him reckless. But anger was a weakness. Kara had learned that lesson long ago, on the battlefields of Mars, where rage got people killed. She steadied her breath, focused her eyes on a single point. His heart. One more hit. That was all she needed. The arena floor steamed beneath their boots. Heat sensors picked up strange readings around Kara, energy rising, though no external source was found. Scientists watching from the control room leaned forward, confused. "Is that coming from her?" one whispered. "Her cells. They're reacting." Kara took a deep breath. She remembered her old commander's words. Humanity's strength isn't muscle. It's desperation. She could feel it now, every scar, every memory of loss, all the pain she'd buried burning inside her chest like fire. Vortak rushed forward for the final blow. Kara waited, motionless until the last second. Then she struck. A second punch, faster, heavier, brighter than the first. The impact exploded like a thunderclap. The shockwave lifted dust, shattered tiles, and blew back the front rows. Vortak's body flew through the air, crashing into the far wall with a sound that made even the guards flinch. Sparks rained. Down from broken lights. For a long moment no one spoke. The only sound was the echo of her heartbeat in her ears. Kara lowered her fist slowly. Her hand was shaking now, the skin split open, blood mixing with dust. But she didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. She just looked at Vortak, Lying motionless, his armor cracked, his pride shattered. The crowd began to whisper again, but this time there was no laughter. Only fear. "Did you see that?" She's just human." "How?" The commentators' voices cracked with disbelief. "The human lieutenant has defeated a Zeldar general. This has never happened in the history of the trials." Kara's vision blurred for a moment. She blinked, steadying herself. Something felt wrong. The energy still buzzed beneath her skin, wild and hot. She looked down at her hand. Light pulsed faintly beneath her veins. No one noticed yet, but she felt it. Something had awakened inside her. Something that wasn't supposed to exist. She turned toward the stunned audience. For the first time, the galaxy looked at a human and didn't see weakness. They saw something else, something that scared them. As Vortak groaned, trying to rise, Kara whispered just loud enough for the arena microphones to catch. "That's the problem with arrogance. You stop learning right before the lesson hits." The crowd fell completely silent. Even the announcer hesitated before speaking. "Winner, Lieutenant Kara Reed of Earth." Her name echoed through the arena. But she didn't raise her hands. She just stared at her bloodied knuckles, her expression unreadable. Inside, she was asking herself the same question everyone else was. What just happened to me? She turned away as medics rushed toward the fallen general. The camera drones followed her every step, transmitting her image to every world in the galactic network. Billions were watching. None of them would ever forget the moment. A single human punch changed everything. HFY Sci-Fi Story. Alien mocked the human's pathetic punch, but her next blow shattered his pride. The arena was still echoing with disbelief when the medics arrived. Vortak's armor was split down the center, smoking. His pulse was weak but steady. He lived, but his pride was gone. The crowd didn't know how to react. Some cheered for the underdog. Others whispered that humanity had cheated. Kara stood there motionless, her bloodied hand hidden behind her back. The glowing under her skin had faded, but she still felt it, a low hum in her bones like something alive. Guards surrounded her quickly. They didn't speak. They only gestured for her to follow. She didn't resist. Her orders were clear: represent Earth, follow the rules, never provoke. But something inside her told her this was already far beyond diplomacy. As she was escorted through the metallic halls beneath the arena, alien cameras tracked her every move. The galactic audience wanted answers. How could a fragile human injure a Zeldar warlord with a single punch? In the medbay, doctors of different species crowded around her, scanning her body with blinking devices. "No implants," one said, surprised. "No exosuit, no external boosters," another hissed softly. "Then how?" The machines began to beep faster as they read her vitals. Her heart rate was normal, but her cell activity was off the charts. Energy signatures unknown to any database appeared on the monitor. "This isn't natural," the lead medic muttered. "Look at her blood. There's radiation, but not from any known element." Kara kept her face blank. She knew what it was. She had seen this before, years ago during the Helios trials on Earth. Back then they called it genetic reinforcement, a secret program meant to make soldiers stronger, faster, unbreakable. Only a handful survived. She was one of them. "Is this power dangerous?" a medic asked. "Possibly," another replied. "If it grows, she could—" He stopped when Kara's eyes snapped toward him. "I can hear you," she said coldly. The room went silent. A door hissed open, and a tall alien stepped inside. His skin shimmered like glass, and his robes bore the seal of the Galactic Council. Ambassador Rintal, a name feared in political circles. He studied Kara like a specimen. "Lieutenant Reed," he said in perfect English through his translator, "you have caused quite a disturbance." Kara stood straight. "I won my match, Ambassador. Fairly." Rintal tilted his head. "Did you?" He gestured toward the screen showing the slow-motion replay of her punch. "No recorded species, human or otherwise, should move like that. And yet you did." His tone wasn't angry. It was curious, and that was worse. "Tell me, human," he said softly, "what did Earth do to you?" Kara didn't answer. Memories flashed through her mind. The white walls of a secret base, scientists whispering behind glass, needles piercing her veins, her body burning under lights. The Helios project was never supposed to exist. It was erased, denied by every government. She thought she'd buried it with her past. Rintal stepped closer. "The Council demands you undergo testing," he said. "You will be transferred to the research division immediately." She frowned. "Testing? I'm not a lab rat." "You are now," he replied coldly. Guards stepped forward. Kara's instincts screamed. She took a step back, fists clenching. "If you touch me," she said, voice trembling with anger, "you'll regret it." The guards hesitated. Rintal smiled faintly. "Such spirit. No wonder your species survived extinction so many times." He turned to leave. "Prepare her for transport," he ordered. As they approached, Kara's pulse quickened. The hum under her skin grew louder, almost like a whisper calling her name. One guard reached for her arm, and pain surged through her veins. A flash of light burst from her palm, throwing him backward. The others froze. "What was that?" someone shouted. Kara looked at her own hand. The glow was back, brighter this time, spreading up her arm in thin lines like molten fire. She felt no pain, only power. Alarms blared as security systems activated. Rintal spun around, shocked. "Restrain her!" But no one moved. The humans were supposed to be weak. They weren't supposed to glow like living stars. Kara's voice was low but steady. "I'm not your experiment." "Not again." She turned, grabbed the nearest guard's weapon and fired at the wall panel. Sparks flew. Smoke filled the corridor. With a single leap, she vanished into the darkness beyond the medbay doors. Rintal stood in the chaos, his expression unreadable. "Interesting," he murmured. "So the rumors about Earth's secret project were true after all." He watched the hole she'd left behind, then tapped his communicator. "Activate containment order. The human must not leave Cathera 7th. Outside, Kara ran through the maintenance tunnels, heart pounding. Every step echoed with fear and adrenaline. She didn't know where to go, only that she had to escape. The power inside her pulsed faster, guiding her like a compass. "Not now," she whispered. "Stay in control." But deep down she knew control was slipping. Whatever the Helios scientists had done to her, it was waking up again. She reached a hangar door, eyes scanning for an exit ship. Behind her, alarms grew louder. Voices shouted through the comms. "Contain the human. Do not let her reach the surface." She found a small shuttle in the corner, half-fueled, still humming from pre-flight checks. Without thinking, she jumped inside and slammed her hand on the launch control. The ship roared to life, lifting from the ground just as guards burst through the door. Plasma bolts whizzed past the hull. The shuttle shot upward through the tunnels, bursting into the night sky. Cathera 7's twin moons reflected off her cockpit glass as the stars opened before her. Kara leaned back, breathing hard, blood still dripping from her knuckles. "You wanted to know what Earth did to me," she whispered to the empty cabin. "Now you'll find out." Behind her, sirens howled, fleets mobilized, and Ambassador Rintal's voice echoed through every communication channel. "Find the human. Alive if possible. Dead if necessary. HFY Sci-Fi Story." Alien mocked the human's pathetic punch, but her next blow shattered his pride. The stars streaked across Kara's vision as the stolen shuttle broke through the upper atmosphere of Cathera 7th. Warning lights flashed red across the cockpit. The craft wasn't built for combat. Panels sparked, engines screamed. Still, she pushed it harder, hands shaking as she guided it through the void. Her heart pounded, every beat echoing like war drums in her chest. Behind her, sirens and radio chatter filled the comms. "Unidentified vessel leaving Cathera space. Target is the human. Repeat, target is the human." She killed the transmitter and leaned forward, breathing hard. "They're not taking me alive," she muttered. Her reflection flickered in the cracked glass. Pale face, sweat dripping, a faint golden glow pulsing beneath her skin like living fire. She clenched her jaw. She didn't know how much longer she could control it. Every time she used that power, it burned hotter, wilder, like something that didn't belong inside her. On the planet below, chaos had erupted. The Galactic Council's soldiers swarmed the arena and medical bay, scanning for evidence of her escape. Ambassador Rintal watched from his command ship, his expression cold. "Send a tracking fleet. The human carries something dangerous, something the Council must not lose." He didn't call her by name. To him, she wasn't a person anymore. She was a weapon. Kara's shuttle pierced through the last layer of atmosphere, entering the darkness of open space. She checked the scanners. 3 ships were already on her trail, Council interceptors, fast and heavily armed. She switched to manual control. The engines coughed, sputtered, then roared again. The craft wasn't meant for evasive maneuvers, but humans had a talent for making the impossible work. She twisted the shuttle sharply, ducking between drifting asteroids. Plasma bolts flashed past her view. One hit the left wing, sending a shock through the cabin. Warning alarms screamed. She ignored them. Come on, she whispered, forcing the throttle forward. Don't die on me now. The asteroids grew denser, spinning chunks of metal and stone reflecting starlight. Kara weaved between them, instincts guiding her more than logic. The chasers followed, firing bursts that missed by inches. Sweat ran down her face. She could feel the ship shaking apart. Then she saw it, a gap between two massive rocks leading toward a glowing nebula ahead. If she could make it there, their scanners wouldn't track her through the radiation storm. Almost there, she breathed. She dived low, engines screaming, every bolt in the shuttle threatening to tear free. The nebula loomed, its clouds swirling with crimson and violet light. The pursuing ships fired one last time. A plasma blast clipped her right thruster. The shuttle spun wildly. She fought the controls, teeth gritted. "Hold together, girl," she muttered. At the last moment, she plunged into the nebula. Light swallowed everything. The scanners flickered out. The enemy ships stopped firing, their instruments blinded by interference. "We lost her signal," one pilot shouted. "She's gone." In the silence that followed, Kara's ship drifted deeper into the glowing storm, damaged but alive. Sparks danced across the console, the cabin filled with smoke. Kara coughed and slammed her fist on the vent controls. "Come on." The air cleared slightly. She looked at her trembling hands, still glowing faintly beneath the skin. The light pulsed with each heartbeat. "What are you doing to me?" she whispered. She leaned back, exhausted. Her body hurt everywhere. Every bone, every muscle felt like it was made of molten metal. But she was free for now. She set the shuttle to autopilot and stared out the window. The nebula stretched endlessly, beautiful and deadly, hiding her from the galaxy that now wanted her dead. She closed her eyes for a moment. Memories flooded back. Earth, the Helios facility, the cold voices of scientists. "You are the future of human defense," they had said. "A weapon born to protect our kind." She had believed them once. Now she wondered if they had made a mistake. Maybe she wasn't meant to protect anyone. Maybe she was the danger. Meanwhile, back on Cathera 7, Ambassador Rintal stood before the Galactic Council's projection chamber. Dozens of alien leaders flickered in holographic form, shouting in anger. "That human is unstable. Earth has broken the interspecies weaponry accords. If she escapes, the balance of power collapses." Rintal raised his hand. "Gentlemen, I assure you, we will find her. The Council will contain this threat." But deep inside, he wasn't sure if she could be contained. He had seen that punch. He had seen the glow. That wasn't technology, it was evolution. "Prepare the hunting fleets," he ordered. "General Vortak will lead them. Let him reclaim his honor." Somewhere deep in a medbay, the wounded alien general opened his eyes. Rage filled him as he saw the broadcast replay, his defeat, his humiliation, the laughter of billions. His pride twisted into hatred. "Find her," he growled. "Bring her to me." Back in the nebula, Kara's shuttle drifted silently, its systems failing one by one. She sat in the cockpit, staring at the faint blue light blinking on the dashboard, a single distress signal from her old commander on Earth. It read, "Kara, if you're alive, don't come home." "They're watching us too." Her stomach sank. She had nowhere left to run. The galaxy wanted her captured. Earth didn't want her back. The only path left was forward into the storm. She took a deep breath and whispered to herself, "They laughed once. They won't laugh again." She pushed the shuttle deeper into the glowing clouds, disappearing from every radar in the galaxy. The hunt for the human had begun. The arena was silent after the explosion of light and power. Dust and smoke hung in the air like ghosts. For a long moment no one moved, no breath, no sound. Then through the haze a figure began to rise. It was Kara. Her right arm trembled, her knuckles bleeding, but her eyes were calm, too calm. Vortak lay on the ground, groaning. His chest plate was cracked, and his blood, thick and dark, spread across the silver floor. The crowd could not understand what they had just seen. A human had not only survived the Zeldar's strength, she had overpowered it. The announcer's voice cracked through the silence. Unbelievable! The human has landed a strike that disrupted the Zeldar's energy field. Gasps echoed through the grandstands. Aliens of all shapes and species murmured in disbelief. No one dared laugh now. Vortak's massive hand twitched. He growled, pushing himself up, his eyes burning with shame and fury. That was a trick, he snarled. You used technology. Illegal. Kara wiped blood from her lip and spoke softly, her voice steady. No trick. Just biology. She looked up toward the cameras, toward the millions watching across the galaxy. Humans adapt, she said. If we break, we bleed, but we learn faster than anyone else. Whispers rippled through the audience. The alien commentators tried to explain it. Some said her punch triggered a kinetic feedback. Others claimed humans had hidden implants. But Kara knew the truth. Her strength wasn't in muscle or weaponry. It was something else. Something born from fear, pain, and evolution. The Zeldar had trained their bodies for centuries, perfecting technique and balance. But humans had trained their will, because for most of their history, survival was never guaranteed. The bell rang again. The second round began. Vortak roared and charged, his movements wild now, desperate to reclaim his honor. His first swing cut the air where Kara's head had been. She ducked low, rolled aside, and countered with a strike to his ribs. The sound was like thunder. He stumbled back, eyes wide. Impossible. Kara didn't answer. She moved again, faster, using every ounce of speed and instinct. Her brain calculated angles and movement in real time. Years of combat training mixed with raw adrenaline turned her into something almost unnatural. The crowd, once mocking, now leaned forward in awe. Some even began to cheer. The human, so small, so fragile, was dominating a creature twice her size. But something else was happening inside her body. Her faint red pulse glowed beneath her skin, like heat or fire building from within. She clenched her fists. Not yet, she whispered to herself. Her heartbeat thundered. Each breath felt heavier. She knew what was coming, the cost of using the serum. The human edge, they called it. A biological enhancer created during the Terran Defense Wars. It pushed human reflexes and strength beyond natural limits, but only for minutes. After that, the body burned out. No one else knew she had taken it before the match. Not her team, not the Galactic Council. Only her commanding officer back on Earth. And he had warned her. Use it only if there's no other way. It'll push you past your limits, but it could kill you. Now staring at Vortak's glowing eyes, Kara knew she had no choice. The alien general charged again, unleashing a furious combo of punches. Each one struck with enough power to break metal. Kara parried, blocked, and ducked, her movements now a blur. She felt her bones ache, her muscles scream, but she didn't stop. The crowd gasped as her counterpunch struck Vortak's jaw with a crack that echoed across the arena. The giant staggered. His armor flickered. Kara stepped forward slowly, sweat dripping from her face. You mocked me, she said softly. You mocked my species. You thought strength was about power. She raised her fists again, her voice trembling but fierce. But real strength is surviving when everything wants you dead. Vortak roared and threw one last desperate punch. Kara caught his wrist, caught it, and twisted. There was a flash of light as his own energy gauntlet overloaded. Boom! The blast threw both of them apart. The arena floor cracked. When the smoke cleared, Vortak was down, his gauntlet destroyed, his body motionless. Kara lay on her knees, breathing hard, her body shaking from exhaustion. Silence, then cheering. The crowd, who once laughed at her, now roared her name. Kara! Kara, Kara! Up in the commentator booth, the alien analysts were speechless. She's human, one finally said. And she just defeated a Zeldar warlord. But Kara didn't smile. She knew this victory wasn't the end. As medics rushed toward the arena, a shadow appeared on the large hollow screen, someone watching from a distance. A tall figure in a dark robe with eyes like burning ice. The screen flickered with static before his voice echoed through the arena. Impressive, human. But you've just revealed Earth's greatest secret, and now everyone will come for you. Kara looked up, still gasping for air. Let them, she whispered. Her eyes blazed with the same fire that had shattered Vortak's pride, and far beyond Cathera 7, in the cold void of space, unseen forces were already moving toward Earth. The medical bay aboard the human vessel. Dauntless was cold and bright. Kara lay on a steel bed, her skin pale, veins glowing faintly red under the surface. Machines hummed softly beside her, reading unstable vitals. The human edge serum had done its work, but it was tearing her apart from the inside. Captain Elias Ward stood nearby, watching her through the glass. His jaw was tight, his eyes heavy. He had seen many soldiers die, but Kara's condition felt different. She wasn't just a fighter, she was Earth's symbol now. Dr. Celine Myra worked quickly, injecting stabilizers into Kara's veins. "Her neural pathways are overheating," she said, her voice tense. "If we don't cool her system soon, she'll go into shock." Elias nodded, but his eyes never left Kara. "She knew the risk," he muttered. "She knew what that serum could do." The doctor stopped, looking at him. "Then why did she take it?" Elias sighed. "Because she's human." A low hum filled the room as the ship's communication screen flickered to life. A hologram of Admiral Juno Hale appeared, her expression hard, her voice calm but urgent. "Captain Ward," she said, "we've received transmissions from the Galactic Council. The Zeldar are demanding an investigation into the use of unauthorized human enhancements. They're calling Kara's win a violation of combat ethics." Elias frowned. "Of course they are. Their champion lost in front of half the galaxy," the Admiral continued. "That's not all. Intelligence reports show increased fleet movement near the Orion gates. The Zeldar Empire is mobilizing." The room fell silent. The meaning was clear. War was coming. Inside the medbay, Kara stirred. Her breathing grew faster. Images flashed in her mind. Vortak's mocking grin, the arena lights, the crowd's laughter turning into cheers. Then the explosion. The voice on the holoscreen. "You've revealed Earth's greatest secret." Her eyes snapped open. "Where am I?" Dr. Myra rushed to her side. "You're safe, Lieutenant. You're on the Dauntless." "You did it? You beat him?" Kara blinked slowly. He was strong. But something felt wrong. That last explosion, it wasn't just his gauntlet. Elias entered the room, his boots echoing on the metal floor. "You're right," he said quietly. "Our sensors picked up a strange energy signature before the blast. Not Zeldar tech, something older." Kara tried to sit up, wincing as pain shot through her body. "Older? Like what?" Elias hesitated. "Like ancient? We traced it to the core of Cathera 7, some kind of dormant structure deep underground. And whatever it is, it activated the moment you hit Vortak." Kara's heart thudded. "You think my punch triggered it?" Dr. Myra frowned. "Impossible, unless—" She looked at the captain, eyes wide. "Unless the serum connected her to it somehow." The captain nodded slowly. "That's what we're afraid of." Outside the ship, space shimmered. Massive Zeldar warships glided through the void, their hulls glowing with purple energy. They weren't just preparing for war, they were searching. One ship, larger than the rest, carried a familiar insignia, a black serpent around a broken sun. Inside, in a dark throne room, a figure watched the human broadcast replay. The moment Kara's second punch struck Vortak, a pulse of energy rippled through the screen. The figure leaned forward. His eyes glowed faint blue. "So, the humans still possess the spark," he said softly. "After all these centuries." Behind him, alien generals knelt in silence. He turned toward them. "Find her. Bring me the one called Kara Reed. The key must not awaken." Back on the Dauntless, Kara struggled to her feet. "If the Zeldar are moving, they'll come for me," she said. "We can't stay here." Elias shook his head. "You're not fit for combat. You can barely stand." "I don't have to fight," Kara replied. "But we need to find out what's under Cathera 7's before they do." The Admiral's voice returned over the comm. "Lieutenant Reed, your survival has changed everything. The Galactic Council is calling an emergency session. You're ordered to Earth immediately." Kara clenched her fists. "With all due respect, Admiral, we don't have time for politics." Elias stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Kara, you unleashed something back there. If it's connected to the serum or to Earth's past, we need answers before the galaxy tears us apart." Kara looked out the viewport. In the distance, the stars shimmered, beautiful and cold. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were already moving. And deep beneath Cathera 7, an ancient machine had awakened, pulsing faintly with red light, the same color glowing beneath her skin. She exhaled slowly. "Then we find out what it wants," Elias nodded. "Plot a course back to the planet, quietly, no transmissions." As the dauntless engines rumbled to life, the Admiral's warning echoed through the ship. "If you go back, you'll be defying a direct order." Kara looked up at the speaker and said firmly, "Then court-martial me later." The ship turned, vanishing into the stars, and far behind them, in the shadows of space, 3 alien cruisers broke off from the Zeldar fleet, following their trail. The hunt for the human had begun. The Dauntless broke through the thick red clouds of Cathera 7th, its hull glowing from the friction. The planet below looked like a dying ember, scarred by endless storms and lightning that crawled across the horizon. This time the arena was empty. The lights were off, the crowds gone. The world felt awake. Kara stood on the bridge, wearing a reinforced exosuit to keep her body stable. Her veins still glowed faintly beneath her skin, the last echo of the serum's power. She clenched her fists, staring down at the massive crater where she had fought Vortak. "Scan complete," said Lieutenant Vega from the console. "There's definitely something under the surface. Massive energy signature, same wavelength as the one that reacted to your punch." Captain Elias turned to Kara. "Looks like you really did wake something up." Kara smirked faintly. "Let's hope it's friendly." The Dauntless touched down near the crater. A storm of red dust swirled around the landing site. Kara stepped out with Elias and 2 Marines, their boots sinking slightly into the cracked earth. The air shimmered with heat, though the planet's sun was hidden behind thick clouds. The crater's center glowed faintly, lines of light forming strange geometric patterns in the rock. Kara knelt and brushed the dust aside. "This isn't natural," she said. "Someone built this." Elias pointed to a jagged structure half buried nearby. "That's not someone, it's something, look." The structure rose slowly from the ground as if it sensed their presence. It was metallic, black and smooth, covered in alien runes no one recognized. A faint hum filled the air. Vega's voice came over comms. "Captain, energy spike rising fast. Whatever it is, it's waking up again." The ground shook violently. Kara stumbled but didn't fall. From the cracks in the earth, red light burst upward, forming massive pillars that circled the crater. At the center, an enormous object began to rise, a sphere of glowing crystal rotating slowly. Elias shouted over the noise, "Everyone back to the ship!" But Kara didn't move. She felt something like a pull in her chest, the same rhythm as her heartbeat, the same color as her blood's glow. She stepped closer. "Kara!" Elias yelled, but she ignored him. Her hand reached toward the floating sphere. The closer she got, the louder the hum became, until the noise wasn't sound anymore. It was thought, a voice. "Child of Earth, you bear the mark of the Forge." Kara froze. "Who are you?" She whispered. "We are what your ancestors called the Founders. We built the paths between the stars and sealed the power within your kind." Her eyes widened. "You mean humans? Long ago, before the Zeldar or the Council, your species was chosen to guard the key, the weapon of awakening, but your people forgot. The war burned the stars and we vanished. Until now." Elias watched in disbelief as Kara's body lifted off the ground, her hand touching the sphere. Energy surged around her, red lightning flashing through the sky. "Kara!" he shouted again, running forward, but the energy field pushed him back. The voice continued, deeper now. "The serum you used, Human Edge, was made from fragments of our code. You reawakened what was meant to sleep." Kara gritted her teeth, pain burning through her veins. "Why me? Why now?" "Because the Zeldar seek the key. They know not its purpose. But if they find it, they will end everything." Kara's heart pounded. Visions flooded her mind. Planets burning, fleets collapsing, galaxies torn apart by some colossal energy. "You must choose, Aid," a voice said. "Use the power to protect, or destroy." She gasped, falling to her knees as the sphere dimmed slightly. Elias rushed to her side, catching her before she hit the ground. "Kara, talk to me!" She looked up, trembling. "It spoke to me. The Founders. They built everything. And Earth, we were part of it." Elias frowned. "Part of what?" "The key," she whispered. "It's inside us." Suddenly the sky exploded in streaks of light. Dozens of ships entered the atmosphere. Zeldar warcraft. Vega's panicked voice echoed in their earpieces. "Captain, enemy fleet inbound. They've locked onto your location." Elias cursed under his breath. "We need to get out of here." Kara looked up at the glowing sphere still humming above the crater. "If we leave, they'll take it. They'll use it to wipe us out." Before Elias could answer, a deep roar filled the sky. A massive Zeldar dreadnought appeared overhead, its shadow swallowing the entire crater. Kara stood, her face set. "I'm done running!" She stepped forward, placing both hands on the glowing sphere. Energy surged through her again, stronger than before. The lines across the crater flared with light, forming a massive sigil that burned through the clouds.